The second block that every bot in Chatfuel has built in is the default answer. Continuing this website analogy where the welcome message is like the home page, you can think of the default answer as being a 404 error page. It's the fallback response. It's what happens when the user asks something that the bot isn't set up to have an answer for. So we'll talk more about that in the next lesson with the Setup AI tab and how you do kind of give your bot intelligence in a way. But for the time being, let's talk about this default answer and what I currently have set up. So this is a pretty bad default answer just because it doesn't help the user in any way. If they ask, for example, your restaurant a question about catering and the bot's not set up to respond to that, then all they're going to get is this: sorry, I didn't understand that, right? Not very helpful. It's not telling them what the bot can do. And that idea is called pivoting, where basically you acknowledge that the bot can't respond, but then you pivot and tell them what the bot can do. So in this case, if I were a restaurant that was using a bot and this was my default answer, here's what I would do to change it. I would say, not just I didn't understand that, I'd say, sorry, I'm a robot, to remind the user about the expectations they should have. So sorry, maybe I'm just a robot. Please use the menu below to see what I can do, for example. And then here you could include a button that says like back to main menu, and we could link this to perhaps a main menu block in the bot where it shows the bot's different functionalities, such as see menu, book reservations, order catering, etc. So this would be a better example of a default answer. And still, there's room for improvement upon this. Instead of just having this same default answer time and time again, what you could do is add some variety if the user continues to type in things the bot doesn't understand. One way to do that is by deleting this default answer we have and using the send block plugin. What we can then do is enable this random slider by toggling that, and then we can randomize the default answer between any number of blocks that we want. So for example, we could create default answer 1 and create a separate one, default answer 2, and then on each of these blocks, we could have one default answer saying, sorry, I didn't understand that. Here's a button that goes back to the main menu. Or a second one, we could put, a GIF, for example, with a crying robot, or something more creative with a button back to the main menu, just so there's some variety and it's not that same repetitive message over and over again. So I now challenge you to create your own default answer. Either just create a single static default answer, or feel free to randomize between these options. One other thing to mention as well is you can also entirely remove the default answer, which in some cases is actually best practice. So what happens when you delete all the content on this default answer is nothing will happen when the user types something the bot doesn't understand, which might be a good thing because then you can freely intervene in the conversation as a human and respond when necessary without the user consistently getting those messages of, I didn't understand that, here's what you can do instead. So I now challenge you, in addition to crafting a default answer of your own, figure out if you want to actually use a default answer. So every time the user says something the bot doesn't understand, it sends that message. If you want to randomize between a number of options, or if you just want to ditch it all together and let the user go through the predefined experience that you create.